Përshëndetje and welcome to Inside Albania with me, Alice Taylor. I'm joined in the studio today by the journalist, media owner and a former politician, Berat Buzhala. He's from Kosovo and we're here today to talk about his life, his work, but also a very important matter that's dominating headlines at the moment. And that is the ongoing court case for alleged war crimes with the defendants, Hashim Thaçi, the former president of Kosovo, and 3 other individuals. This is a very serious matter. There's a lot of controversy around it and I can't wait to find out more about it. Welcome to my studio. Thank you for joining me today.
I'm honored, Alice. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Right, let's start at the beginning. You grew up in Kosovo, but at the time it was Yugoslavia. And I'm curious, because this will all lead into what we're going to be talking about later. What do you remember from that time growing up in Yugoslavia, and maybe perhaps differences in the way that you as an Albanian were treated from other people?
I remember when Tito died, I was 5 years old, and we had mixed feelings because besides that, I grew up in a village and I grew up watching Albanian television as well, because we could catch at that time TV because our village is quite in a high altitude, and we had 2 perspectives, Albania and Serbia and Yugoslavia. And I remember when Tito died and when Enver Hoxha died, I think 4 years apart. And when Tito died, nobody was sad. It was quite, because my parents used to say that he died earlier, but they are hiding it. I don't know why. And then
an Albanian conspiracy theory, you know.
Because he was quite sick and his leg was amputated, I think, because of gangrene or something like that. And then everybody was speculating that did he die, did he not? And then when he finally died, in the same day was born my cousin, in the very same day.
Reincarnated, perhaps? Yep. That's what we say if you're born on the same day.
But I can say that nobody was so sad when Tito died. And then, but everybody was sad when Enver Hoxha died.
Sad. This was a sort of Stockholm syndrome, though, wasn't it? They had to cry.
Actually, no. I mean, my village is mono-ethnic, and Yugoslavia, it was not like same as Albania. No. I mean,
you had more freedom.
Yeah, we made fun of politicians, and you were not that much afraid that they are going to revenge. But being honest, even Serbia was not so sad when Tito died. Looking at this perspective, I mean, because Tito was, let's say, theoretically loved by everyone, but not very much by anyone. Like everybody thought of him that somehow he's helping others more than them. So Serbia was, Serbian nationalists were like angry at Tito because they thought that Tito gave some, and actually he did, in '74 give Albanians a kind of autonomy. And we had a university, we started having some cultural revolution after 2000 years. And, but I remember Tito very well, not very well, I remember him. And then I was quite aware after Tito died in '81. I was 6 years old, and demonstration in Pristina. When Kosovo erupted, youth start protesting and asking for a republic. And then I remember when Milosevic came, and it was quite 80s were like I was shaped as a guy that I am today during 80s. So all these fascists from Serbia, Šešelj, Drašković, Milosevic, and we were like ordinary people in Kosovo. We were like statists, like just looking, wondering what's going on. I used to drive crazy. My father, can you imagine, like a 10, 15 years old kid staying with his father and watching Assembly of Serbia all day long. And I learned Serbian language from Assembly of Serbia. Like my father was there stuck smoking.
But why was he so interested in it?
Because it was our fate. We knew that something is cooking.
That's what I was going to say. Did you know that war was going to be inevitable?
Yeah.
It was just when?
Because all 80s, after Tito died, and this turmoils started in Serbia, asking for, because in main news in Serbia, every night, they start reporting how Albanians are suppressing Serbian rights in Kosovo. And it was a case...
Like they say today.
At that time, yeah.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah. It was a case, a guy, a villager in Kosovo, from him started everything, actually. And I don't know, can I use the same language? Maybe you can put some tips.
Try it, because we've had worse.
Now it's proven that he was a bit like, he has some fetishes at that time. A beer, a glass of beer stuck in his butt. And they said, it's true, you can say. And they said in Serbia that Albanians did this to him. But the truth came out later. He was experiencing something like...
It was for fun?
Yeah, for fun.
Jeff?
Yeah, for Jeff. And he became a symbol of Serbian propaganda. This is 86, 87.
Year I was born.
Yeah. And we were so like...
Wow.
Just wondering what's going on. They would also... television of Serbia came to my grandfather's house at that time, because in my village used to live Serbs as well. And they left my village in 70s. But they were complaining now in Serbia that they left my village because of the pressure, which was not true. Now, they came in a village, a crew of Radio Televisioni Serbis, and they interviewed my father, my grandfather, and they said why they left. It was a guy named Roda, many more, and he said they left because they said it's better to live in Serbia. And they said no, they are saying the opposite. They are saying that they left because of the pressure. And thanks to God, my grandfather had letters that they were sending to my grandfather from Serbia, and telling him that how much they miss the village. He said, it's not possible that they are saying this, because he said, I have letters that they are writing to me, because we helped them during the Second World War. We kept them, Serbian people in village, and we dressed them with the Albanian customs, and they were living.
Yeah, you protected them.
Yeah, we protected them. However, this is the 75, 80, 89, and 90. Which I remember very well, and all my angles and perspectives regarding us and Serbs was shaped at that time. And it was then my father was fired from his job in 91, and we were forced to move from one village to another. So it was quite dramatic. And also in late 80s, Serbia or Albania, because going to the army, it was mandatory at that time.
Yes.
And Albanian officers started being killed in the army. And Serbia said at that time, the official propaganda was that they are doing suicide. And one of the neighbors came dead at that time. And it was one of the most famous ceremony when he came from in the casket. And it was like 100,000 people took part in the ceremony at that time. And I was a kid. I was in elementary school. And by the way, in elementary school, I was in the 8th grade when we started protesting.
Good.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. I held a protest I organized a protest when I was in I'm trying to think what grade it would be. like 7, so I was about 12 or something. It was when the Iraq War started.
Oh, yeah.
We organized a protest about
the first war.
It's good to start young.
Yeah, when father of the W was the president.
Yes.
I remember that war very well also, but I was protesting at the time. I was in 8th grade because the miners in Kosovo, they got stuck in the 9th horizon in Trepça. And they were asking, they had some conditions to came out from there, like Serbia to withdraw from Kosovo, something like this. And now we start protesting, and we were saying at the time, we will not come out of our class unless the request of the miners will be fulfilled. So it went like this.
But what prompted you to move into journalism? Like, I've heard, a few things here that you've talked about from your memories, seeing the Serbian media, lots of propaganda, this bit of activism in you. Were these all elements of your past which contributed towards you becoming a journalist?
So basically, I was a student during 90s. 94, I started my law university faculty in Pristina, and it was parallel school, parallel university, because in 91, Serbs expelled us from buildings. So my high school was in houses. We finished our schools in houses because we were not allowed to go in a public buildings, because public buildings become only for Serbs. So in 91, I was in a 2nd grade in high school, and it was like just a house of a neighbor. Wow. And we called them studying. It was not a study, it was activism. It was apartheid. It was totally apartheid. And then I enrolled in university in 94 in Pristina. I applied to become a doctor in medicine. I was not accepted, and I remember I cried from Pristina to my village because my mom wanted so badly for me to become a doctor, because she was always sick somehow, and my dream was...
She wanted help.
Yeah, and I wanted to. And I was not accepted because just for one answer, like the threshold was 100 points. I was something 98, 99. So, and I assume, knowing our culture, most probably someone paid something, and then like 2 or 3 lost places were filled with corruption, and I was out. So, and then I decided to go in law in University of Pristina. I was a quite good student. I finished earlier than the, I finished for 3 years instead of 4. Yeah, but at that time I was reading a lot newspapers, Serbian mostly, because in Albanian language it was just one newspaper, Bujku. And later on came Kuhaditore, which was quite attractive newspaper, supported by Soros and supported by, Soros now.
Don't mention the S word.
By the way, I love Soros. I know they're usually shoot at me.
But
now.
He's the one who introduced him to Albania.
I know, but now who cares? I mean, the whole thing is who blames whom. I mean, if I say first, then you must be Soros. So Coaditore was very independent newspaper and different.
Yes.
I remember at that time people like Janusz Bugajski writing in Coaditore, who passed away recently. He was a US guy. And some interesting names. And I said, wow, this is very interesting.
More interesting than law.
Yeah, and more interesting than Serbian newspaper. Serbian newspapers, rubbish.
Propaganda,
totally rubbish. And I'm not saying this because they're Serbian. Because at least Danas, one of them, made a difference in Serbia. I mean, but I used to buy as much as, all the money that I had, I would spend in buying newspapers and reading it and becoming political.
Yes.
Political animal. I know because me and Albin Kurti are the same generation as well. And I know him since then. And just recently somebody published a picture. I was with him in a protest inside the buildings. I don't remember that, but we were, And I was active as a student in protests in '97, the first time that we killed the fear as a students, like thousands of people, of students, all dressed white, and we started protesting in October, which was the first time that, because until that protest, everything was related with Ibrahim Rugova and with his peaceful movement, and then we were bored. I mean, bored to death.
Yeah, I mean, you wanted a bit more excitement.
Yeah, like let's do, guys. Let's
set some people.
Let's do something, because this is endless.
It's not working.
Yeah, I mean, people used to finish the faculty, and then what? I mean, what are you going to do? So we decided to protest, and Serbs beat the hell out of us at that time. Albin had a big hair, and they dragged him from the hair, and it was. For me, that was the beginning of the activities and how I see the world. And then my village also, I'm not part of Drenica when the war began, but I'm the first village. My village, Čabić, is the first village, and then Drenica starts. And literally the war there lasted for 3 years, because the first masks people appeared in my village. And gunmen, and everybody was reporting at that time, who are these guys? And they were shooting to Serbian policemen. And in the beginning, they had masks, and we do not recognize them. But now, because the process has finished there, at least proofs and everything, I can talk more freely and not being afraid that these statements will be misused by the prosecutors there. But whoever thought that there was like a chain of command on KLA, that was a joke. That was a joke, because every village has his general staff, I can call, and they decided for everything. So it was under one umbrella. They were all part of KLA, but they did what they wanted. That just one episode. In '98, then I finished my faculty and I went back to the village, and then we were guarding on a village with guns. I used to carry a old gun. I guess it was from the Second World War, and it was a checkpoint. And someone told us that you have to stay here, because Serbian police was not far away. It was in a different village, like 3 miles away. And they said, you stay here, and you have to legitimize everyone that will come in the village. Done, sir. And then even our cousins, they ordered, like, if your cousin is coming, you should have... You still have to... Asking for ID even from my cousin, because they said so. Like, everybody that would come there, we were obliged to ask for ID and, like, asking few questions. Where are you going? Where have you come from? What's your business here? And then... they said that KLA guy that was like in charge of my village. And they said, when they come, everybody, when we move, you have to salute us like here, like this. We said, fine. Then next one would come and he would say us, we would salute him like this. And he said, not like this. How? Like this. Fine. So when I heard them talking in a chat, I would go there and say, hey guys, I was in a checkpoint and different people, different orders, and no chain of command at all. Like, there was some beating in the village. I used to say this in a post. Between cousins, they happened to be uniformed. I did say, when I was MP, there were crimes during the war, but not all the crimes during the war are war crimes. No, of course. Just crimes during the war. Yeah. Because they revenged each other. Yes. Because they had some problems in the past, and now whoever dressed up in a military uniform earlier will revenge to his... The crimes of a society continue alongside... Totally. What's going on. So that happened. My grandmother and grandfather was killed by Serbs. They were burned alive in 28th of March, 99. They didn't want to, they were like 84 and 85 years old. My my son carries my grandfather's name, Gig. He was so brave, my grandfather, and he didn't want to, because we used instantly when Serbs start shooting in our direction, we just move away in the forest. And my grandfather said, "No, I'm not escaping from my house. I was born here, and I would like, if needed, to die here." And my grandmother, she wanted to come with us because she was a bit afraid.
Of course.
Yeah, but she said, "I'm going to stay with your grandfather," and they stayed there. And then when NATO started bombing, and we escaped from our houses in 25th of March. We moved to the forest, and we were watching Serbs coming in our village from the distance.
And you knew that your grandparents were there.
Yeah,
still.
and we saw that very house that they were saying that it was burned. We hoped that maybe they picked and sent somewhere else, but no. When war finished, we went in the house and we cleaned the house, and we saw the bones there. So they shooted them, they burned them alive, and it was so sad. It is so sad. It passed now almost 30 years. Now, knowing that people from KLA are, because there were some people from KLA sentenced in Kosovo, and they took some sentences in Kosovo. But all this process in The Hague, after 30 years, we know for a fact that my grandmother and grandfather were killed, and we know the chain of command of Serbian army.
Yes.
Who was in charge in my village.
Yes.
How come? And not just two of them, many more were killed there. And nobody paid any price.
Yeah, I was going to say, has there been justice? I went to Jakova about 18 months ago, and I made a documentary about about massacres that took place there and families that were destroyed. And I heard many stories of families who said, we know who did it, and we handed over evidence and testimony, and that evidence never appeared again, and no one has ever been found guilty. And I mean, there's so many of these stories, and we're talking entire families burned alive, or like children shot.
Absolutely.
You know, and they know who did it, and they have very meticulous like logs of information, and no justice.
We were staying also in 11th of April, I was in the forest with my family. We lived there for 2 months outside, in a tractors and sleeping outside. And it was one beautiful day, just 2 or 3 days before Easter, because I'm Catholic, my families are Catholics. We lived in a Muslim community, but great relation, totally.
Of course, the Albanian way.
We can teach the world something about the interreligious relation. And at that time, during the war, people are scared and people start praying more. And my mom, she and our other woman start praying with a rosary. And a woman from Muslim community would come there and pray together. It was for like a movie scene. But 2 or 3 days after, Serbian from different villages start shooting grenades in our direction. And they killed instantly, like 200 meters away, far from me, where we were, 11 people from my village, and they just threw grenades in the camps and killed people. For sure, it is not a science fiction to investigate who was in charge in that other village that were throwing the grenades.
What would your grandfather think about this situation now with the Hague Tribunal?
He was so obsessed with politics. I remember in 80s we were watching these long sessions, and he would spit on a TV every time when some collaborators of Serbian government would appear there. He's the shitty man. Every time that some people, I don't want to mention names now, but he would be so sad to see what's going on, because Hashim Thaçi is from Bruja. Bruja is a village 2 miles from my house. And people have no idea what that region suffered and what they experienced.
Yes.
3 long years in massacres after massacres, just to make a comparison. Like it is a village called Izbica in Drenica. 130 people were killed. 130 people massacred during the war. And in Kosovo, few months ago, a guy was sentenced. I think it was because the name was Albanian, but maybe these guys that collaborated with Serbs. Do you know what the sentence for him?
What?
12 years. Even proven that he was there. But this is the anomaly of what's going on.
And we have 45 years per person.
But it's insane because it's against the law, because the law for establishing the court, it is written there. It is in there. Lex Meteori. Lex Meteori, it's a principle in the law that you have to use the most favorable law against the people that you are charging it. So in Kosovo, no Serb was sentenced more than 14 years old, in a prison. No one. Because lawyers said you have to use the law of 75, the Yugoslavian criminal law, that the maximum, it is 15 years, because the death sentence was removed from the law. So the death sentence was the maximum, and then after removing it, because of the OSCE standards, the maximum become 15. How come that they are sentencing people?
Yeah, how come?
I don't know, because that court is it is operating out of all jurisdictions.
Yes. So just so we explain to the viewers as well, it's supposed to be part of Kosovo's justice system.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
I say supposed to be because it's working against Kosovo's interests. But
we don't have a government now, because if we had a government that would be friendly or not friendly, just to be like a normal government. Because when the indictment, we didn't do anything. I was MP from 2010 until 2014. All US ambassadors at that time in Kosovo lied to us. With heartbroken, I consider myself fellow American, and I love United States of America. I was with Thaçi, President Thaçi at that time, Prime Minister Thaçi, in December 2010. We were watching a game. It was Real Madrid-Barcelona, something like that, semi-final of Champions League, when a report of Council of Europe written by Dick Marty popped. And The Guardian had a headline.
The Yellow House and the
Guardian had a headline that Prime Minister of Kosovo accused of organ trafficking. I was with him. He was shocked.
I mean, apart from the fact it's ridiculous, it would be logistically impossible as well. It's completely...
And then the very next week, he went in Brussels, organized press conference, and he said, I am open to be investigated independently about the allegation. And so the machinery started moving. US ambassadors in Kosovo would come and contact MPs and saying that we have to do something. We all agreed we have to do something. And then they sent the prosecutor, Clint Williamson, to make an investigation and a report. Report came out. He said there are some proofs needed to investigate further, blah, blah, blah. And then they said, we have to change now the constitution to open the door for a tribunal. We said, fine. And it is point 162 of our constitution, paragraph 1, that says the court should deal only with allegation of Council of Europe report and Dick Marty. So it is written there. Also, the law, then, after we amended the constitution that opened the door, everything within our, with Kosovo jurisdiction, somewhere else.
Yes.
Because people mix it up, because it's in The Hague and a lot of international courts are there. That court is in The Hague just to protect witnesses. It has no relation with any other court.
No. It's a Kosovo court.
International court. It's our court, and we are using the premises, and we made a bilateral agreement with Netherlands to let us use those premises. So 162 of Constitution and the first paragraph of the law of the specialist chambers, the very first paragraph says the scope of the law and Constitution and the law. It says the scope of the law, the field of activity of this court, it is regarding the Council of Europe report.
Yes.
Now, investigation started. It was a guy, a prosecutor at that time, appointed by US called Schwendimann. He was after 3 years, he was replaced by the infamous Jack Smith. But the guy, Schwendimann, started investigating the allegation. We didn't know what he's investigating. We suppose that they're investigating
the report.
The report. Then, but how I read the entire banality of this situation, he gave an interview after he was forced to step down, because Schwendimann was forced to step down. And you have an interview of him saying, I was forced to step down because they asked me,
This is what I want to know. We'll come back to this in a minute. Who is behind this push? Why? Who is they?
State Department.
But why? Why do they favor Serbia?
No. They wanted... My read is this. Now, they knew that there is nothing from it. They knew, because no organ trafficking.
Yeah, of course.
Nothing.
I was going to swear then, but yeah,
now we are in 2017. Donald Trump won in US.
Yes.
And then Thaçi started working with him and with Gremlin.
Yeah.
Very closely, yeah.
We're not friends.
Very close. And they were talking regarding this border demarcation, border correction. Europe was terrified a bit. And also liberals in US didn't like much. And they said, I think they said, now is the right time to kill this idea. How we kill it, how we can kill it. We have a court and we have a prosecutor there. Why we don't prosecute these guys? Why we don't prosecute Thaçi? Because he was one of the main guys investigated there. They asked Schwendimann, the prosecutor in chief, and he said there, he says in this interview, they asked me for the indictment. I said, guys, just because you paid money for the court, it does not push me to indict some people, because I don't think that we have enough evidence to indict people. And then they asked him to be removed, and they brought Jack Smith. When Jack Smith came, then after 1.5 years, he gave an order to be arrested, Thaçi and others. It took 3 more years for indictments to be finished after being arrested. So, and when indictment came, nothing from Marty report. It is just recycling what Ramush Haradinaj experienced in Hague for former Yugoslavia, what Fatmir Lima experienced. So it is just, they assembled every allegation ever existed regarding KLA. Can you imagine, Alice? Ramush Haradinaj was commander of Dugajine. And in Hague, in former Yugoslavia tribunal in Hague, after long 5 years, they said, we cannot find enough evidence to put chain of command in Dugajine. Now, they're indicting Thaçi for chain of command even in Dugajine. So...
It doesn't even make sense.
If the guy that was commander-in-chief appointed by general staff, it is released from these allegations, how come the general staff is responsible?
But I see it as well as a wider pattern of placating Serbia and trying to push down Kosovo, because you have a situation where Kosovo, in the face of the EU, the US and the UK, is asked to bend over backwards and accept whatever Serbia wants, even when it violates its own sovereignty. It's criticised widely, which Serbia then uses as propaganda to strengthen its own position. And I find this is completely unfair. People they're like, oh, Kosovo is its own country, but you have to check everything you want to do with Serbia. Don't upset Serbia, and you have to do what we have to say. And I think some of this is to do with wanting to keep Serbia close in the face of closeness with Russia, potential destabilization in the area. I think this is part of it. There's a lot of mineral interest in Serbia as well, economic interest. And I think yeah, I think this is, I mean, we have Jared Kushner, who's got €1 billion project in Serbia now as well. I think all of this ties into it as well.
I think that
they stopped it for now, but they hadn't, you know?
But the problem is, I accept this because it was like after bombing Serbia, part of Western countries, they felt a bit like morally responsible that because of the Albanians, maybe. I mean, that's fine. We should work harder. I mean, sometimes we feel in Europe as a kid that it's a bit discriminated. You just need to learn a bit harder. But we have to admit also that we were the luckiest one. I mean, we were held by Western countries.
Yes.
I mean, the first time in our history, we had allies. Serbia has a university like for 200 years, and we barely started knowing our alphabet like 70 years ago. So we were lucky.
Yes.
We were lucky to have Ibrahim Rugova as a leader who would like open a way. And because we are talking now in the end of 80s, when Bosnia and Herzegovina, they start building allegiances with Iran and with Saudi Arabia, and Rugova said, no, West.
Yes, look.
And he would put the Pope John Paul picture in his office, and he would pray for United States. So it is kind of very interesting period of time when we start outplaying Serbia with politics. And they felt a bit like, oh, like these guys used to chop woods in Belgrade, and now they are like doing these new tactics and outplaying us. It's fine. We need to grow up and to work harder and to learn more. But the problem with this court, it is why our government, because they could, when indictments were published, our assembly, they could invite a foreign independent monitoring NGO and to say, look, this is the constitution, this is the law.
Yes,
these are the indictments. What do you think?
Yes.
Because in one day, they can decide to return even the death sentence. I mean, where is the point? Then you as a government would say, stop it.
So why is Albin Kurti not doing this?
I think, he is very complex personality, but I think he's happy. Deep down, he's happy.
Why? Because it's ruining the legacy of Kosovo and the KLA and what people fought for internationally.
He said publicly, when he won election in February 2021, that we have to establish a third republic. So you have to establish a third republic, but then you have to destroy the second republic. So he hates that legacy because he's an egomaniac and he cannot forgive himself. Again, we are the same generation.
Yeah.
He didn't pick up a gun. He was enough old at that time. So now he would change everything just to make that part of the history disappear and take the country. I'm not saying that he's going to send Kosovo back to Serbia, but he would like to annihilate everything that happened before him. His mind is distorted. Because it was like as bright as day to see the indictments and to see the
even
legal infrastructure that we established that court. Everybody would say, at least invite someone, like escalate to de-escalate. How it works this? Threaten to destroy the court, and then when the thing becomes serious, and then start negotiating.
So you think he's actively pushing for or hoping for convictions at this stage?
Totally, because he pretends that he was against the court. Because at that time, he was against the court, even though he didn't vote. He just walked out. His parliamentary group walked out of the assembly. But he was so afraid that Hashim Thaçi will not be in the court. He hates that guy. I criticized Thaçi. I was against Thaçi from 2014 until 2019, when he started working hard on this border correction with Grenell and Trump. I didn't support him. I was approached by a prosecutor. This is for the first time at that time. I was approached by middlemen of the prosecutions at that time to cooperate with them, to give information from my village and stuff. I said, listen, guys, I don't like how Thaçi do politics, but you're wrong. I mean, if it is one single point when he shines, it is that period of time.
Yes.
He was, I envy him because of that period of time.
Do you speak to Kurti at all? Do you have any kind of relationship with him?
No, because he hates media. He hates criticism.
I've been chasing him for an interview for 3 years.
No, don't hope. I mean, he gave 2 interviews recently and offered to television recently for an interview, but Kurti's people approached to that guy and said, but we have to agree on the question. So he's so weak on giving independent interviews. And look at his interviews in public broadcaster. It's just ridiculous. And so Kosovo's on the reports, Reporter Without Borders, and in all indexes, Kosovo is like nosediving
in media freedom.
In media freedom.
What about Prime Minister Edi Rama? He's been really vocal in his support of Thaçi, and it's known that him and Kurti are not the closest friends.
Yeah.
Do you wish you had someone like Rama running Kosovo at this moment?
Listen, I was also very critical to Rama a few years ago. I'm still critical. Like, I didn't support him now regarding Belinda Baluku. I think he should give up as soon as possible from this cause. Like this, there is no. You cannot win this battle.
No,
even if
it doesn't look good.
It doesn't. So,
like the international community are like,
no,
what is this? Like, why?
Albania is very like he should not destroy everything that he built regarding the accession of Albania to European Union, and he's now threatening it.
It makes you look guilty.
Yeah, totally. So, but I have to admit that when I saw Rama doing this, what he's doing for Thaçi,
the national protest in Tirana a few months ago, it was amazing.
He helped with fundraising.
Yeah.
People from Albania, because government didn't pay money. I mean, they paid. They were so. They were our government. Once in a year, they would go public and try to convince people, saying that we are giving money for those people there, and mentioning how much money they are giving, instead of covering all of it, like Croatia did. Croatia paid 30 million euro for Gotovina because they thought it is very important for their history.
Of course.
Now, how can you go publicly saying that Kurti now recently saying that that court might affect our history and stuff, and in the same time you are not paying for it? If you're afraid that this can impact our history, our past, why don't pay 100%? Why you as a prime minister or minister of justice won't deal with the lawyers? Why are you giving Edi Rama is fundraising with France in Albania? I was in New York in fundraising dinner. People from Albania gave like 3 million euro for Thaçi alone. Because you know the lawyers are very expensive.
Of course.
It's very expensive.
Yeah.
But Kurti didn't care.
But do you think part of Kurti's attitude is also that he wants to suck up to the US and the EU a bit? You know, he's not in favour with them much at the moment. So by not opposing this process that's going on in the court, he thinks he'll look a bit more compliant.
No, because Kurti cares about everything, just not regarding the relation of Kosovo with international community.
He doesn't give a...
No. I mean, he started making like noise and disrupting our relation.
What does he care about then?
For his vision, I think. He's stuck a bit because he thought that he will interfere in Albania much more easily.
He got Albanian citizenship, didn't he?
Yeah, but you remember he won in February 2021, and then election in Albania were in April 2021, and he thought that this energy of Kosovo
would spill over with Vardosja.
He was so sad when he learned how much votes he got in Albania. So this was his vision, to disrupt entire countries in which Albanians live, and to start no comparison is perfect. Anschluss in Albania, but in reverse, starting from Kosovo to occupy Albania. and to spread this revolution.
Greater Albania.
Yeah, Greater Albania.
In a political sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now he understood.
I mean, I quite like the idea, but I'm not sure who I'd want to be in charge of it.
But not in that way.
No.
I mean, not in that way. Not one-man show.
No.
Not one-man show. I mean, even if you had a case, because now I start thinking that it's not a bad idea, like to do something, but in a very polite and not disrupting way.
No.
Because
you can't interfere in another country's sort of...
And also we have to take care about, because when you're a country, you have to take care about the region as well.
Yes,
I mean,
of course.
the side effects of your movements, like a butterfly effect. If you move something here, it might disrupt other countries as well. So we should be careful about it. But his propaganda prior to becoming prime minister was so aggressive, so simple. He would say, unification with Albania is very easy. We got the checkpoint from Morin, we put the checkpoint in Merdare, and this is it.
Yeah.
And you would know why you're saying this. It's not that easy. So, and he started very aggressively against Edi Rama. I mean, protesting of his MPs coming to Albania. This was unique. So, and he saw Thaçi as an obstacle.
Yes.
He was very easy. He was very happy. He had this post few weeks before Thaçi going to Hague. Shko Hashem. Go Hashem. Go to Hague. Go there. And now he is I think, if he come out innocent from tribunal, which I hope so, if not, then...
This is what I want to ask. So I have a couple of questions on this. First, we all want Thaçi and the others to be found innocent, but realistically, what do you think is going to happen?
So, entire thing is political. It's not rule of law. Nothing with a rule of law. Now...
It's a farce.
Okay. Oh, I'm safe. When it's political, it is very hard to predict the outcome. If it was legal...
It would be simple.
As it was the case in ICTY, International Court for Former Yugoslavia. As I said, even Ramush Haradinaj came innocent. Even though he had a very tough but a great lawyer, like the British lawyer, what was the name?
I don't remember.
It's a movie about him. Official Secrets, it's a movie. But Ben Anderson, one of the best lawyers in the world in the penal, in the war crimes. So he came innocent, even though witnesses and testimonies were much more aggressive than he.
Yes.
But in this case, since the case is political, you cannot talk realistically. I think the only way for them to come out free, it is if we have a political intervention, because you have to undo something that you build in the same way that you build.
That you make it. You can't beat something politically motivated with the rule of law. It doesn't work like that. Yeah.
So, and I hope now, and I'm pretty much convinced, and I have some interesting information that they will come out free.
Okay.
Because there is no big power that would be interested to, besides everything.
Because the reason for wanting them to be found guilty doesn't exist anymore. Time has changed, the mood has shifted.
Also, the price for them to become guilty, it will spread all around Western countries.
Yeah. And
it would involve NATO.
It would destabilize the situation in the Western Balkans. You have problems in Bosnia and Herzegovina with the Serb organization there, and them wanting to split. You would give power to those forces that want to destabilize this region.
Also, now talking, seeing the witnesses, the lost witnesses in the court, General Wesley Clark. For him to go there, he needed a clearance for two institutions in U.S. Pentagon and White House, or State Department.
Yeah.
So, prosecutor is from U.S., main judges from U.S.
There had to be a political push for him to get that permission.
Yeah, I think that they would just throw out a main general.
If he was going to throw a spanner in the works and they wanted it to go a certain way, they wouldn't allow him to go. All right, let's look at the worst case scenario before we look at the best case scenario. If they're found guilty, what's going to happen in Kosovo?
Political instability. I mean, a big political instability.
Would the government fall? Would there be demonstrations?
Right. Yeah. It's 2004. I remember 2004 in Kosovo when we, irrationally, we start protesting in a very unorganized way, and also burning some monasteries and stuff that had nothing to do with our frustration.
The way,
We were just frustrated in 2004 about the delay. I mean, it was a limbo at that time. Liberated 99, 2004, no perspective where we are heading for. What we are doing. I mean, what is the goal? And then after those riots, it came a guy called Kai Eide from United Nations, and he built a path toward the final solution,
Careful.
To the political solution. We have nowadays, we should be, totally. We should be very, to choose the words. Now we are in the spirit of Nuremberg movie. So now if this happens, you saw the lost protest. Like more than 100,000 people were. It was crazy. From Hotel Grand,
amazing
government. So this is, and then this will multiply.
So problems in Kosovo, problems in the region, not caused by Kosovo, but caused by powers who will piggyback on the back of that judgment to use for their own agenda. And what happens if they come out free? What happens politically then is Albin Kurti...
Hard to say, but knowing Thaçi, I visited him a couple of times in Hague there. I had some free, because I was one of the, only one actually, one of the rarest that prosecutors didn't take any measures against, because many guests of Thaçi were banned to visit him further, because they spied what they were talking there.
Wow.
And I was talking only politics with him. I didn't talk about witnesses. I didn't talk about the process. I had nothing to add to that process. And I was talking about politics. I know him very well. He's political beast. He's
Would he return to politics, do you think?
For sure.
Yeah?
For sure.
So Kurti, this is another reason why Kurti maybe doesn't
and
want
now it's political scene. Now we are heading also toward split between Kurti and Osmani. Osmani is very close now, all of a sudden, with Roma, and now they are together in White House.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that Kurti will elect her as a next president.
I like her.
I have double emotions. We used to be great friends in the past. We were MPs together, but stories that were published by Michael Martens in Frankfurt Allgemeine Zeitung against her. And Martens, a guy from Twitter, it is very active on Twitter, and he's the only senior journalist of German newspapers from the Balkans. Very close, good friends with Kurti. And that campaign of him against Osmani, I read something, I'm from Balkans too, as a conspiracy, because Kurti was very frustrated when Osmani joined Board of Peace.
Yes.
Rightly so.
Yes.
Because you cannot join. I think Kosovo did good because, I mean, we are US baby.
Yes, you have to.
I know that Donald is not that same US that helped us, but better not having troubles with him.
Yes.
We cannot sustain a trouble with United States, no matter who is there.
No.
But at least Osmani should not
cozy up.
Joined that board prior talking to Kurti. And she just ignored his existence. And she ignored his existence after he won 51%. And Kurti was furious regarding this. But she is now double playing it. She went in White House, and in that
He's fuming, basically.
Yeah. So it is very tricky because sometimes populists like Kurti you can bring down only with his people. Look at in Hungary what's going on. Now you have this guy Magyar who is opposing, and he was great ally of Orban. So they were together, they split, and now I hope that he's going to beat Orban.
Well, yeah, so he's had too long in power, 15 years.
Yeah, more.
Yeah. So
Kurti will be much more harmed by Osmani. I know Thaçi at any given day can get like 35% of votes. But
or maybe more if he's found innocent.
Maybe more.
I believe
maybe more, but it will be like head to head.
Yeah.
Head to head with Kurti. But Thaçi has more energy when he comes back.
So Kurti's probably having some sleepless nights at the moment.
Totally.
Now I have one more question for you.
Yeah.
What happened with Albatross?
Oh, Jesus.
I was a bit nervous before today. You know, I was like, I hope I don't say the wrong question.
No.
No, I'm joking. I'm like ready to duck, you know.
No, it was very stupid, like very stupid act by me. I don't remember, actually. I was obsessed now with reading how the brain function. I am on a TV debates for a long time now, for 26 years. I never moved from the chair. At that day, at that show, I was explaining, again, I am a bit invested in this case.
Of course.
I was explaining the Constitution. I was explaining the role of Kurti, and he was disrupting me all the time, saying, it was not leaving me to finish sentences. Still, it's his role. You have to, if you cannot sustain, just don't go. And it was like, I just had a blackout. And I was asking, as we do nowadays, ChatGPT explaining what went on my brain, because usually we take a decision and then we move. I just moved. I didn't take a decision. I just got the glass and went in his direction. Thanks God I didn't touch it. When I was above him like this, I started like...
You snapped back to reality for a moment. Your brain caught up with... Have you spoken to him since?
Yeah.
You're all good?
No, we are all...
You had a coffee?
And also, we took part in another show together
Okay, I didn't see
in Pristina. And we had a good energy there. And I said, I mean, every time that I see him, I'm going to apologize to him.
I'm sorry, but don't interrupt me again.
I said, listen, it's not a good idea to interrupt. I'm not going to do anything else. And it's still not a good idea to interrupt.
And what did your kids say?
I had a hard time to explain.
Yeah.
This is...
Because it went viral as well, you know?
Yeah, I asked my chubby, the little one, in the morning. He was going to the school. I said, listen, people might bully you. I did some stupid things, and I apologized. And I said, listen, take this example. You have to apologize when you do bad things.
Yes.
And don't worry now. I said to him that I'm talking to my victim. So it's all fine, except that I am all over the places. And now he asked me further questions. Why this happened?
And you're like, hold on, ChatGPT.
Yeah, he is very obsessed because he has many pictures with Thaçi and this entire process.
So he's following as well.
Totally. Because I was in a hay once and I took him, but he was waiting for me in a gates because he was not allowed to come inside. And he barely cannot wait for him to come back. And to see him, because he does not remember. It happened 6 years ago. He was 5 years old.
Yeah, he doesn't.
And he just sees the pictures and don't remember the meeting. He cannot wait to meet him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I hope he gets to meet him soon.
He will.
Soon. I hope so. We have to have faith.
Thank you.
Berat, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was great.
It was a pleasure.
It was.
I follow you for a long time on Twitter. I was on X.
I still type Twitter when I want to look. I don't use it so much anymore because
I don't like Elon.
No, not a big fan. But also it's changed. No, it's not to do with him. It's more, I don't get shown the things I want to see from the people I want to follow. And when I post stuff, it doesn't reach the people it used to.
Yeah.
So I find I don't use it so much because I can't enjoy it in the same way as before.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's it for this week. You can watch Inside Albania every Saturday on Euronews Albania, on our YouTube channel, Euronews Albania, or across all major podcasting platforms. Until next week, Mirë Pafshim.